Hi, I'm Oscar. I'm one of the dinghy instructors here at Rudder Lake Sailing Club, and in this video we're going to look at how you can rig a club laser. If you want to see a specific part of rigging a laser, such as the outhaul or downhaul, simply go to the description just below this video where you can skip to the chapter that shows what you want to see.
All the different club boats are kept in different sections, but we'll go down to the laser area and I'll show you the couple of club lasers that we have ready to rig. So here are our two lasers, two nice new covers, but if you're not too sure, one is brown, one is white, but you can also come to the front of the trailer and you'll find a label identifying each of the two lasers that you can book out via the website. On our video we shall provide a link to how to book your laser. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my laser into this area. Now there's no wind tonight, so it doesn't really matter which direction I put it in, but if the wind was coming from in front of me, I'd point it in front of me. But I'm going to take the cover off and I'm going to check through the boat to see what's inside, and then I shall go over to the loft to go and pick up the bits and pieces that I need. Okay, so put that there like that. I'm then going to go around and undo these. And then just take it off and put it back over by the tyre. Here I've got the top part of the mast. On a laser they come in two bits. This is the bottom part of the mast. This one is a radial, so it takes a slightly smaller sail. And then we've got the boom. Why don't we go to the loft and I'll show you where we can pick those bits and pieces up. And to do that we need the tomato ketchup bottle with a set of keys. Okay. So normally this is all locked up. There's the garage door where the rescue boats come out of, and that's all closed up. To get in on the big tomato ketchup, it's the biggest key, most complicated looking key on the set. Goes in a couple of times around, in we go. Light switch on the right hand side. To go up to the sail loft, be careful up the stairs, handrail for your own safety. Okay, this is our loft. We have all the sails for all the different boats that we have. Today we're looking at the lasers. Behind here there's some extra ones that says laser full sail, laser radial sail, laser 4.7. Really important that we put things back after we use them in the right spot. Here is the laser radial. The other giveaway is this blue part of the sail shows us that it's a laser radial. So I have the sail there. Then we've got these kit bags hung up here. These two are the kits for the boats, and in the blue one we've got spares. So I don't need the spares for the moment. I'm going to take this kit bag, and then over here these are the rudders and tillers for the lasers, and then underneath we've got the dagger boards. So you can unclip the elastic, pull one of these out, we've got that, and then also a dagger board, and then just remember to put the elastic back. The elastic basically keeps the extensions in place, and then you're ready. Now I'm coming down the stairs backwards. I've been through the health and safety test at Rudder Lake Sailing Club. Now you don't have to bring everything down in one, you can come up and down several times. I just happen to have a hand that can carry all the bits. There's not much wind tonight, but there could be, so you're probably best not to rig the boat here, especially on a laser, because once the sail's up, it's up. What we'll do is we'll take it down to the foreshore, but before we go down to the foreshore, there's just a couple of things that we'll do. You've got your spars, and just so they don't bobble around too much when you're taking the boat down, put them underneath the traveller, like this, maybe just line them up, and then you can pull on the thing, just tension that up as much as you can, just to give them a little bit of purchase. Cleat that off, and then get the foils, put them in the boat, the sail, and your control lines. Those in there like that, and then we'll take it down to the foreshore. Now, you might want a friend to help you. Don't have to do this yourself. Now I've got to this point, it's downhill, so I'm going to rotate round and I'm going to go down stern first. I have more control over the boat. I'm going to use both my hands. Just be wary of the ground. There might be a loose stone or something, so you don't want to slip. So I'm going to come to here, I'm going to rig the boat. Even though there's not a lot of wind, the wind is coming from that direction, so I am just going to spin the boat round. It's useful to get into the habit of doing that, just out of practice, because on a windy day, when you forget, you put your sail up and then you're in a whole load of hurt. Okay, right, so I'm going to get the sail out. Again, if it was a windy day, I'd just keep the bag in there for the moment so it doesn't blow away. I'm going to unravel the sail. And I've got the this way, so I've got the bottom of the sail, spin it around. So next step is to put the mast together. We've got the top section, which has got this part at the bottom of it, and then we have the bottom section with the boom connection, the gooseneck here, and they both just slide together. Now before I do that, I'm just going to bring in the other top section of the mast from the brown laser, which is ever so slightly different. So here, when we put the bottom section onto here, we line up the two arrows, slide it on, comme ci, comme ça. For the white laser, we have no arrow. So the best thing to do, and we've got no rivet that's in the middle, but the safest thing to do is to just line it up with a rivet. Let's put that back there. Like that. Okay, next step, let's put the sail onto the mast, which is simply a case of feeding the mast into there. Now, the other thing to just remember is at the back of the bottom end where the boom connects, I'm pointing that one up, and then when I've got the sail will also point up. But for the moment, I'm just going to drag this down. Now it's really important just to keep the sail as in good nick as possible. Is the reason I had it stretched out is so you've got no kinks and stuff and it goes straight on, and you're not kind of trying to ram the sail onto the mast. Over that bit. A little bit further down, and then I'm lining up the sail with that and just making sure I've got it all the way. Yep. And then lift the sail up, lift the mast up. And then put it in to hit. Now, do not drop the mast. So gently put it down, and then look, the sail's gone and swiveled round on me. I'm just gonna pull it round that way. There we go. Okay, so got the sail up. Let's get the control lines. That's the next thing we're gonna set up. Got our kit bag. First thing is just to identify all the parts. So the easiest one in here is the rabbit. No, I'm joking. Main sheet. So it's just a good idea to take everything out, put it on the deck here, make sure you've got everything out of there. Put, again, could be windy, just put your the kit bag back in there. Okay, so the easiest bit I can see here, Clew strap, that's going to go at the end here, so I'm going to leave that here. Next bit to identify, probably is the easiest bit, is this bit, which is called the kicker, which I'm then going to put up the front here, so I've got the bits in the right place, and then I'll be left with two sets of ropes here, and one of them goes at the back, one of them goes at the front. So the one with the two pulleys on the pink ropes and the one with the blue rope and pulley, that one's called the downhaul. This is the downhaul. That's going to go here, and then we've got the outhaul with the yellow pulley and rope here. I'm just going to put that there. I think my order of doing things is that I'm going to attach the kicker first. So I'm going to get the boom, and there is a hole into the boom which fits on to there, simply as that. Gently put the boom down. So the boom's on, get the kicker. This is the kicker. Now when it comes out of the bag, it's going to be a little bit sort of misshapen, shall we say, but best bits to identify is orientate it in the right place, and that is this pin here is used to attach it onto here, and you put it such that the cleat is facing backwards and this way, but just be careful when you take these off, they do ping and disappear. So again, take the pin out, fit that, align the holes, push the pin through, insert one end, spin it around, and that's it, like that. Now I tend to, just to try and fathom this out, is I found this top bit, because this is the bit that's going to connect up into the boom here, and then let's just try and unravel this bit of a heebie-jeebies of a mess. Okay, so here we have everything detangled, loosened off, right, pulled the pulley out, and then I'm just checking that none of these ropes are crossed over each other, because when they're under tension and you're trying to pull, it won't travel very well, and those are all moving in the right space. So then just attach that into there, push it forward. That's the kicker on. So once we've got the kicker on, we can now attach the Clew strap to the Clew, which is simply a case of threading the Clew strap through the Clew, pull it all the way through. Now you want the Velcro on top. Pull your mast up, keep it up nice and high, wrap the Clew strap around, back through itself, undo the Velcro. Now you don't want this too tight, because otherwise you want the sail to be able to move along the boom. So I'm just gonna not do it too tight. Wrap the Velcro back round it, and that's going to hold it tight now. The next part is I'm going to put the Outhaul on, so that's this rope. First thing, find the yellow, take the yellow off, like that down there. I'm now going to attach the yellow onto here. Probably best to go that way. Feed it up through. There. Put the pulley through the loop. That's that attached on there. Okay. First bit to identify is what's called the soft shackle, and we're just going to take that off the end there, like that. And then the pink end you want, that's the end that's going to be at the stern end of the boom. Now I'm going to rig this laser with the Outhaul on the starboard side and the Downhaul on the port side. So I'm going to take the pink end, not the purple end, from the port side through to starboard side, then feed the loop through the pulley as it would normally be fed to be used as a pulley. Then going to come back round to the port side, through the loop again, and then I'm going to put everything through the loop. Comme ci, comme ça. So we've got the soft shackle end, which can then move like this, and then the soft shackle, let's just make that nice and long, goes onto the Clew, goes, so take the loop, pass it through, and then put the soft shackle through the loop, and that's that attached there. And now we have full control of the foot of the sail now. So now let's take the end of the purple, stay on the port side, and we're going to attach it to the yellow pulley through there, pull it all the way through, that's tightened up this one, and then to the pulley at the back, feed it through, pulley at the back, pull the rope all the way through, and then we're going to walk to the mast. So we've come to the front of the mast, we've still got the purple rope, and we're going to rig this up here. Now, I put the Downhaul here. The Downhaul does have a part of the Outhaul, which is the blue one, but I've attached it, I keep it attached to that one because I know that all goes at the front of the boat. So let's just undo the blue, and then the blue attaches over the top of the boom, between the boom and the sail, goes through on itself, and then bring the pulley onto the port side. Get your Outhaul through the pulley like that, pull it tight. Now you'll start to see that's all working there, and you can control your sail. It then feeds through here, through that pulley. and through, pull it nice and tight, then through the port side cleat, like that. Okay, so we've put the outhaul on, but I've not quite finished it yet, but I'm going to just move on to this elastic first, and then I'm going to adjust this and put a handle in so it's easy to adjust. So the piece of elastic here, you want to make sure it goes underneath all the lines here, and it goes towards the back and underneath. Up the other side, and then the end goes through the clew, back onto this side, and then make sure it's gone underneath, so it's between the boom and the outhaul, under there, and then it's going to go back onto this side, so it's crisscrossed over, and then this knot connects onto here. Just be careful of eyes. It clips into there like that, and that's that on there, and that provides some tension into the sail. So hopefully when I release this, the sail will move quite easily that way, and then you can tension back up on there. But I'm going to just leave it about there. Okay, there's a good, just cleat it off, there's a good sag. You're not going to have as much sag as that probably when you're sailing. So I'm going to tie a bowline in this, but in this link here we're going to have some videos on how to tie the different knots. So bowline in, and you've got a small handle that at least you can grab to adjust. There are different ways of doing that, but we're just putting a simple loop in. And now we have control of that part of the sail. Right, okay, so downhaul. It's made up of two parts. You've got this pulley on this pink rope. Just undo that one. Like that. Then this pink rope with the orange one and the pulley attached to it is going to come through, so I'm going to rig it on the starboard side of the boat. So I'm going to push that bit through the tack and down and pull it down. The pulley won't go through. Okay, so you leave it to that length. Then this loose pulley goes underneath the kicker. Be careful not to trap the outhaul. Then through the pink rope coming down, through on itself, and then this stays on the starboard side. Then you've got the orange rope coming down, so what we do is comes down through the bottom pulley, pull it through, back up and through and down. Now, just depending on how all the ropes twist, sometimes you might need to undo it and just turn things around so that your ropes move fine, and that looks okay to me. So then move the handle of the kicker out of the way, end of this rope through here, pull it tight, and then through the front and through into the cleat, and now we've got control of the downhaul. With such a long piece of rope, I am now going to put a daisy chain in to create a handle as opposed to just a bowline, but in this video here we'll show you how to do the daisy chain. Leave it like that, and the last one just pull it all the way through. That's given me enough just to put the bowline back in. Now we've got a nice handle for controlling the downhaul. Okay, so next we're going to put the main sheet on. Going to find an end of the rope, and we're going to go from the middle of the boat up onto the boom, round the back and down onto the traveller. In the middle of the boat, you've got your pulley that may or may not have a ratchet on. Easy way to find out is, first of all, put your rope through and then go like that. I can tell that I'm going to be crewing from this side of the boat and I'm going to want to pull it this way, and it's not ratcheting, it's rock solid. So I've got that in the wrong way, so take that out, put that in through, and now that's working. So it's pulling with me and then it's stopping it. If I pull on my left hand, it's stopping it going out that way. So I know I've got that round the right way now. Okay, then through from the front to the back of that pulley, front to the back of that pulley, bring the boom round onto here, and now you've got this pulley that sits like that. So I'm going to come from the back end through to the front, and then we're going to go back up to the pulley on here, and this is called the becket, and just put a stop knot. You can do figure it out or stop knot, whatever. And then hopefully come to this side, into here. We've now got a smoothly running main sheet. Brilliant. Now the other thing you can do on your main sheet is, just to set it correctly, is to let the boom out to 90 degrees, which is that. Come round to your main sheet and put a stop knot in. Figure of 8. Okay, and that just stops your boom from going too far forward. Right, so that's all done. Next thing I'm going to do, rudder. There's a few important bits to just check when you're putting your rudder on. First of all, tiller and extension go under the back end of the traveller, but over the top of that. And then you need to make sure that these pins line up with these two, and then slot it in. Okay, ping, always a good sign. The other thing to just check is that the pin is in place in here. I'll take it out, but the tiller actually slides out. There's a hole on the top, and then there's a hole in the tiller as well. I can see those two are lined up because I've just taken the pin out. Just make sure that the pin is in there, and that stops that from sliding out there. And then you've got your control line here underneath there. The control line, basically, when you put your rudder down, you can then cleat it off to make sure that this isn't going to come back up when you're sailing. So I'm just going to undo that, pull that up like that. Okay, so we're going to go and launch the boat, although I'm not going to sail, but I've put my buoyancy aid on because I'm going to go down onto the pontoon nearer to the water. Before I launch, the first thing I'm going to do is come to the back and just check that the bung is tight and properly in place. So I'm not going to fill up with water. And then, now, if you're here by yourself is one thing, but if there are other people around, just holler them and they can give you a hand. Everybody will be helpful. But we're going to go down to the water's edge first. One of the easiest ways is to use the pontoon, but you can do what we sort of term a beach launch. Not that this is a beach, but the easiest way is off a pontoon. So I'm just going to come down to the edge of the pontoon here. Boat in the water. Undo the painter. Again, don't let go of the painter. Just get used to not letting go to the painter, because on a windy day the boat can be doing all sorts of things. I'm just going to push the trailer a little bit more, and then the boat's free of the trailer. Push down, bring it round. Now, if I'm coming down onto the pontoon and there's quite a few other people rigging their boats, I'm not going to come here and plonk my boat here and leave it there, then go off and sort my trailer out and stuff, because no one else will be able to launch off the pontoon. So take it as far as you can. Now at the moment we've got this other boat here, so I'm not going to go round it. At least I've left some space for another boat. Through, back round, so you've got a loop, half hitch, I put a loop in, half hitch, your boat's secure, then I can go off and sort out the trailer. Don't leave it in the water, I just take it to the top end of the foreshore. So we've finished our sail. Now going to bring the boat back on, so I'm going to go and get my trailer, and then we'll bring the boat up onto the foreshore and de-rig. So again, this evening there's a mirror, not much wind, so to bring the boat round is quite easy. But on a windy day, if the wind is blowing that way, acrossways or that way, your sail could, it will just hamper you getting it onto the trailer. So you can undo the soft shackle and the Clew strap and just then let the sail loose, and it can just fly without controlling the boat. But I won't do that this evening. Let it go past the corner, don't try and then bring it round onto the trolley, square it up, onto the handle. I tend to go underneath for whatever reason, but then just a figure of 8 round the handle a few times, and then a locking on both sides. Put that up there, at least that's fairly tight so the boat's not going to slip back, and then lift the boat up. Okay, shall now de-rig. Okay, so now I wouldn't have kept my bag in the boat whilst I was sailing. It would have been back with the cover, but just for convenience I've got it here. So I'm going to put all the bits back in now. So I'm going to put the Outhaul in, and with the Outhaul I've just tied the soft shackle pulley to the end, so that's all one bit, so they all stay together. Really important actually just to tie these things on, because when they're in the I'll do that again. When they're in the bag and they're loose, they can just get a bit lost. And then on the downhaul I've put the yellow and the blue pulleys, because they go sort of more towards the front of the boat. Clew strap back in, kicker back in, back into the bag. Put the bag back in, and then we can fold up the sail. Okay, so we're going to fold the sail away. Well, we're going to roll it up. We've got a fairly small bag and we're keeping the battens in the sail. So what we're going to do is fold the sail in half. And then again taking care with the window is fold it again, and then you'll come up against the longest battens, so that's the shortest width, and hopefully that will fit in the bag. But isn't too bad. And now go back to our berth. Okay, so we're back at our berth. You may have some water inside the cockpit. There's a drain plug here that we pull like that, and that comes out underneath the laser. But also you've got your bung here. It's just worth making sure it won't come all the way out. Just pull it out so it's open, and then lift the boat up from the front, and in the cockpit you can see the water and that'll drain out. You can't see the one at the back, but you'll be able to tell if there's water come out, because there'll be water on the ground down here. Then learned the art of putting the tie underneath the boat. So when you're putting this one under, don't go underneath the frame, go over the top of the frame and then chuck it to the other side, and then on the other side come between the boat and the frame, and then just tie that off. I tend to just do a simple shoelace bow and then into the berth. Back down onto the tyre, and that's tucked away. That is how to rig and de-rig a Rudyard Lake laser. I'm going to take these bits back up to the loft, put them back into the same place where I found them, and if you had any issues with the boat, you can report those using the QR code that's in your email, or the link in the email, or the QR code that will be on the front of the boat, on the label. Thank you very much.
Like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
like and subscribe. I'm not doing that.